Hi there and welcome to a new video in which I'm going to show you how you can create UIs in Godot, such as for example this one, okay, in this game yourself, okay. So for example, there we got the main menu user interface, okay, or even here we have a game over one. So in this video I want to learn how to create these things. So the first thing that you have to know is that whenever you want to create user interfaces, what you will use are control nodes. So these are the ones that will provide you the features that you need, such as color rectangles, labels, buttons, etc. So first off, let's say that we want to create a main menu scene. So for this, the root node would be a control node, okay? Why the control node? Because this is the one that will allow us to put inside of it control nodes. It's basically because of that. Then what we have to think of are the different elements that we want our UI to have. This is just an example, so I will put a color background, okay? I will put some text with the title of the game and a button to play, so pretty simple. So first thing, let's select the control node, go to the plus icon and let's type here color rect. This is a node that what allow us to do is to just have a color rectangle. Now here on the left we can modify its color. So let's for example create a yellow color rectangle. Now what happens if we want to make this fit the entire screen? All control nodes we have here are anchors presets. So this will allow you to modify the position, okay, of the node, and also the size, okay, and how it is gonna be sized. So we can set it to full rect to make it fit the entire screen, but as you can see, it's not covering the full screen. So why does this happen? This is because the control node has this size, okay? This size specifically. If you want to know the specific size, you go to layout, transform, and here you see this specific size. So what happens is that here, it's actually trying to occupy all the place that to fill in the parent, okay, but the parent has this size. What you will see is that if I resize the parent, okay, the color rect also gets resized. Why? Because we have set it to full rect, which means that it's always gonna take as much space as possible. Therefore, if we make this control node full rect as well, this is gonna cover the whole screen, okay? So this is what we want. Once again, this is just like an introduction to anchors and all that. Now, let's say I want to add some text. So for this, let's select the control node, go to the plus icon, and let's add a label, okay? Then I'm gonna rename this label by clicking on it again, and I'm gonna call it title label. Let's put here an imaginary game, such as my game title, okay, something like that. And the first thing that you will see is that, well, the color is maybe not the best one, so rather than changing the font color, well, I can actually show you how you can do that. There are many ways. You can, for example, set up a new label settings, okay, and open this up, and here you have a lot of things. You have, for example, to modify the font size, the color, okay, so let's basically use this option. So let's make it, for example, completely black, okay. And here we can also modify the size. So let's make it way bigger, maybe something like 80, okay? And here we have it. Now, to position this, you have two methods. You can just move it manually, which it's okay, but it's not perfect. Or you can use the anchors. So in this case, let's put it at the center top. And then here, this can also be combined along with the move tool. And I will just adjust it a little bit, but as you can see now, it wasn't adjusted perfectly. So what you have to do is firstly, let's put it back on the original position, and let's use just this, in this case, green arrow, just to move it vertically, as you can see, okay? So that it's already centered, okay? And it's not modified. So there we have it, okay? It's perfectly centered. You can also check if it is perfectly centered by scrolling down a little bit, layout, transform, and here you can also check the position, okay? Well, in reality here the position doesn't tell you many things, but if you did the perfect math between the size, the window size, and all that, you would actually see that it's perfectly centered. But once again, if you have the doubt, put it there, move it down, and there it is. Now, if you want to import custom fonts, in this case, for example, one that I like a lot is Nodo Sans. So you have to download it from, for example, this one is Google Fonts. You have many websites, okay? So I'll just press on Get Font. Well, here I have the other families that I had previously selected. So what I will do is that I will basically just delete this. Oh, well, I can directly download this family. Okay, and a lot of cases what you will have is that you will have different different styles once that you extract this. Okay, so let's basically extract this. There we go. So here we have variable font, static. Okay, and here we have like lots of styles. Okay, and here you just have to try it out. I like here one that is called condensed here, and I think it's regular. So once that you have your font, okay, you can actually double click on these things and kind of preview them. Actually a little bit, maybe black. Yeah, maybe this one. I will grab it and just import it as any asset. No, this is the other project. This is the one I want. So okay, here we go to this kind of breaking. I don't know why. Let's try this again. Here we have it, and there it is. Okay, perfect. So we can go back to the label settings and just drag and drop it over here, and as you can see here, it's being modified. Now what we'll see is that this is not centered, okay, within the size of this. So here in horizontal alignment, we will put it in the center, okay, and in vertical alignment, same thing, just center, just make sure everything is completely centered. So there you got it. Now it's looking way better. Now let's say that we want to add some buttons, okay. Let's add a button. Okay, I'm gonna actually call it play button, and I'm gonna do just basic stuff. Just put there a play text, and here we'll scroll down a little bit. And in this case here, for you to modify how basically the text, you will have to go to theme overrides, and here you can modify very similar things. So we can load in the same font. We can increase the size a little bit, maybe to 50. Or even a little bit more. Let's make it 65. And now let's say I want to make this button a little bit wider. So you can go back to select mode, just make it a little bit bigger like this. And using the anchors preset, let's center it. So there we have the button. Now let's say that we want to add a second button. So what I will do is I will select this one, right click, duplicate. You also have the shortcut Control D, by the way. And I will rename this, and I'm gonna call this one menu button. And I will modify the text. I will use the move tool and I will move it down. So this is not bad, but they are not completely centered in the screen. So what happens if you actually want to make sure both buttons are centered? Once again, you have two methods. You can select both, okay? And then using the move tool, try to center them manually. This is not bad. It looks all right. But for more complex cases, and if you actually want it to be 100% perfect, what we'll do is once again select both, right click, reparent to new node, and here we're going to be using another node. What you have are container nodes. So you have like a lot of them, okay? But in this case, the one that we want is bbox container, which is a vertical container. There we go. Now with this, what you can do is once again select it, okay? And first of all, we can go to theme overrides, constants, and modify the separations. Okay, so let's say that we want this to be 50. Okay, and then we can center this container. Okay, and there it is. And let's say that we want to make these buttons wider. So in this case, if I go to select mode, as you can see, I can't anymore modify their size. This is because their size is now managed by the container. So we have to go to the container, make these things wider, okay, and now we have to center it again. Now I don't want to get too technical, but let's say that, okay, I want my menu or my play button to be not that wide. So what we can do? So basically here on container sizing, which is under layout, what you can do here is on horizontal. In this case, you have many options, but if you set it to shrink center, okay, what this is gonna allow you to do is that you can now set a custom minimum size in the X. So let's say that we want this to be 140, for example, okay, or let's say something way more, like this number, for example. Okay, in this case, it's been applied for both of them, but if we want this to be a little bit like a smaller, I know 180, here we can actually do it. Okay. Now, how do we go about interacting with these buttons? So for this, we're gonna be needing a script. So in this case, I will just connect it to this node. I will firstly just call it menu. Okay, and I'm gonna save this scene over here, and I will attach a brand new script. In this case, I have these comments, which I will just delete. And I'll also go ahead and create a brand new scene, just so we have it as an example. The only thing I will put is a 2D scene with the Godot icon, okay? Just so we can differentiate them. And I will also save it. Now here we are. What I will do is go to the play button and I will connect the pressed signal over here on the node tab on the right. And the same thing here. And here we have it. So whatever code we put inside of here is gonna be called when we press the different buttons. So for the play button, we want to change to this scene, and for the menu button, let's change to another scene. So what I will do for that menu button, I will simply create a new control node and just a label that says menu, and I will just increase the size a lot. Okay, so maybe font here and 100. Okay, there we go. Of course, these are just examples. So on the play button, we want to change to that scene. So for this, you do get tree underscore change scene to file, and here you select it with the arrows in your keyword. In this case, it's gonna be node 2D, and here enter. There it is. And then for this one, you do get tree dot change scene to file, and this is want to go to control, which is the menu. Okay. Then I will go to the menu scene. I will press this button to run this current scene, and here I have something. Okay, so I can go play, and this is the play scene. Remember this one. And then if I press menu, I have this one. Okay. And now with this information, you can actually go ahead and create your own UIs. I will just super quickly analyze these ones because we will also understand more things. So this is the menu. Okay, it's pretty similar. The only thing that is different is that we have a new node, which is the texture rect node, which basically allows you to put images. That's all. So here, this is just a screenshot from the game. It's basically the sprite 2D, but in control nodes. And then I just put a menu panel, okay, which is basically this. This would be the same thing as with a color rect, in which you change the opacity. So let's say that I hide this. So I just want to have more contrast. Okay, so what I will do is I will add here a color rect, just for you to see this effect that is pretty cool and it's really used a lot. I'll make sure this occupies the whole screen. I will also make it some kind of orange color that I think was pretty cool. Maybe something like that. And what you will do is you lower this alpha value. And there you've got that effect. Okay, of course you have to tweak these things a little bit, but it's the same thing that we used to have, or pretty similar. Okay. And once again, I'm using here the buttons container to contain these things, and I have a script that does the different things. So on play pressed, it changes to the main scene, basically the game scene, and on exit, in this case, it just quits. Okay, but pretty simple. If we go to another example, let me firstly go to the main scene. Here we can see a few more. Or when enriching this canvas layer, I'm not talking about canvas layer, but think of them as also something very similar to control nodes, but it will just make sure that they are displayed on top of every single element. Basically that. And here you can take a look at more things. So, well, for example, here I have a coins panel, which is pretty similar. You should be able to create it with what you know. I will just hide it for a second. We have a game over panel, which as you can see uses the exact same elements, just a title, okay, and some buttons. And also if you see these effects over here, they are super easy to do. I didn't actually cover them because they are so easy to do. In this case, I was using theme overrides, but it's the same thing in label settings. You just go to colors or fonts, or I'll show you that, and you just have to modify the font shadow color, okay, which I basically use this color, which is like, as you can see, some kind of gray color. And then you just set a shadow offset X and Y. If you actually want to do it with label settings, which is pretty similar, they still have their differences, but I just want to show you this. Let's say that we have another color over here, because I want to make this text white. So I actually create something very similar. And we want to create that. We go to shadow, and let's make it shadow of 10. And here we have to go to the color, and once again, here when we increase it, we start to kind of see something. So let's make it maybe something like this. But as you can see, it has no offset, so it's like very similar, mostly equal to an outline. So here we have to offset it. So let's give it from 11, 11, okay? And well, it's a little bit too much maybe. So maybe 5, 5. And you can kind of start to see, I believe it's still too much. So we can give it maybe 2.5, 2.5. There we go, and here we kind of have it. Or even we can just take a look at how this was built. So it was these values, okay, so 1111 for example. Okay, so and here we also have like a different size, so maybe let's make this thing a little bit smaller and with more offset. And so you can see, well, with all these values, like the effect changes, okay, but I believe that you do get the idea. So if you want to continue learning Godot, what you can do is go to the description, okay, and here we're gonna be finding all the links to my Godot, Unity courses, and even ChatGPT courses if you are into AI. So we'll just open them all, and the cool thing is that sometimes, okay, if you are fast enough, you will get them at a huge discount, because sometimes these links have some coupon codes applied, as you can see. So for example, this course is originally at $20. You will get it at 35% off. This is a complete Unity course. You have a complete ChatGPT course. This is a Godot course. This one is another one. And here, as you can see here, it's here it covers the 3D game that I showed you at the very beginning of the video. And even here, another Godot course. So whenever you want to learn something about Godot, Unity, or AI, make sure to check the description down below. See you there.